Hey guys, I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and this is Table Talks, episode 6.
So this is some old footage. It's all pre-quarantine, back when the gyms used to be open.
Yeah, the good old days.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's like anymore to be inside one.
I know, I can't wait to see the inside of this gym again. Apparently Sean's done some work on it, so we're all excited to get back there, not just to arm wrestle, but just to see our second home.
Yeah, and our Brothers in Arms crew.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are training.
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of brings us to the topic. So the topic for today we're going to talk about is why we chose arm wrestling, and it's partly inspired by this text that I got from Devin. We're lucky enough that we're close enough with him that I could ask him for feedback on our last video about programming and picking your goals, and this was his response.
Yeah, so we're going to touch on that twisty path for strength priorities in our next video. But for this video, we're just going to focus on the second part of his comment, which is that arm wrestling, the main goal here is for it to improve your life and enhance it.
Yeah. Yeah, so just how that works, and I think where that kind of starts, like if you've been lucky enough to have been to one of his seminars, or if you've just seen them on YouTube, you'll notice that he pretty much always starts with his sort of pursuit for being like big and strong first, and then the further down that path he got, the more like specifically focused on arm wrestling he got, right?
Yeah.
So
the one arm.
Yeah, even now to just one arm. that post. Did you see the selfie post that he put? He put up a picture of like a crane, so it's like just one big mechanical arm, right? And it says felt cute, took a selfie, might take it down later, I don't know. So hilarious. He's fucking awesome. Yeah. Anyway, so we figured we'd start with why we started going to the gym. So why'd you start going to the gym?
I guess when I started, I was 16. I was skinny and like 165 pounds. It's still the same height basically. I think I was 6'2".
Yeah,
I may have gained an inch by now, but
that's a rail for sure.
I wanted, I guess, just to gain some confidence. Just to want to attract the opposite sex a little bit, and
being able to talk to girls is always a motivation, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the time.
And it didn't really turn out that well, but yeah. So ever since then, I'd fallen in love with the gym and just the idea of getting stronger. So, what about you?
For me, I started because of football, like I said, and when I got to the weight room, the headmaster of the school, he was the weightlifting coach, and he was from West Point originally, and he was the powerlifting coach there and the head of the philosophy department. So just like
hardcore,
just a crazy hardcore guy, full of proverbs and wise talk and just no bullshit. Like first day I got there, he throws me on the scale. Like, holy fuck, 320 pounds. Like, it was like the only way that you're allowed to be in this weightlifting class, because it was kind of like a lot of people wanted to do it, and being a freshman and getting an opportunity to do it was kind of like unusual. So it's like the only way you're gonna get that I'm gonna let you be in this class is if you commit to doing the Atkins diet, and you can't, like, you miss a day, you quit, you give up on a lift or anything, like you're out, And I was like, okay, I'm in 100%. And then he's basically giving me shit like, you have the frame to look like Arnold, so you will look like Arnold. Like, that is my goal with you. And I was not upset about that. I was like, okay, I would like to go from this fucking 320 pounds,
on your shoulder,
butterball turkey to like to actually, ripped and shredded.
Yeah.
And then he just taught me to love the grind and love lifting, and it was with squats. Like, first day is squats. He puts 225 on the bar for everybody, and doesn't matter if you can do it or not. He makes you grind out that weight. He'll lift the whole set if he has to, like from a back squat, like spot position.
Yeah.
But just to make you feel like the torture of the set, and I was doing pretty good. Like, I was 225, I could move it, and I got up to like 250, but I wasn't really going deep enough. I was like 3/4 squatting, and he kept every set. He's like, you gotta go deeper. He's getting mad at me. You gotta go deeper, damn it, deeper. What the fuck? And then the last set, on like this 4th or 5th rep, like probably the last rep, he as I'm going down in the squat, he's right behind me, and he like sits on my ass and knocks me down to the bottom of the squat till I'm like all the way down, as far down as I can possibly go. And he's like, now that's the bottom of a squat, now stand the fuck up. And I struggle and grind and like yell and get this weight up, and felt like I was gonna die. And then he was just like, from now on, every squat's got to look like that. And I don't know, it didn't scare me. It, like, you know, it inspired me. Like, okay, that's what it's about. Like, you got to be able to handle that shit. And so then from then, I think just the idea of the grind and fighting the weight and just being in the gym and putting in the work, I just fell in love with that part of it. And then the results of being strong, you know, like being able to walk into a normal gym and like see people curling, like, you know, or whatever, squatting like a plate on each side, and you go up and you're like up to 4 plates before you're done warming up.
Everyone stops to look at you.
What the hell is going on over there, you know? And yeah, so then it was just falling in love with the idea of being strong. So then how'd you find arm wrestling?
Yeah, so after I turned 21, 22, I've been powerlifting for solid 5 years at that point, and it kind of gotten a little stale for me, and the gym had kind of gotten a little stale for me as well, because like once you lose purpose to train, it just makes training itself much harder and less. I was just way less motivated to go.
Yeah.
So there was a solid year of inconsistent training and inconsistent diet because of that as well.
Yeah.
So I ended up losing 60 pounds during that period of time and lost a lot of strength as well. So when I finally like got myself back into the gym, I was a different human.
Yeah.
And also like I just wasn't nearly on the same level or even close to it as I was before.
Yeah.
So I got back into training just like for a general maintenance thing.
Fitness,
yeah, exactly. But still, it wasn't as fun as powerlifting used to be.
Yeah.
So when you introduced me to arm wrestling, I found a new reason to go to the gym. It gave me a little bit more of a purpose, and I fell in love immediately. And yeah, ever since then, it's been highly motivating for me to train. And like, even some days I train 2-3 times a day. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
How much of a pull and an addiction it's become a little bit. But
yeah, I think, for me, it was really pretty much a similar thing. I've been through that cycle. I'm 12 years older than you, so I've been through that cycle a few times.
Yeah.
And it was when I found Fortis, not even the first time. Like when I found Fortis the first time, it was pretty much just because the original goal, like get girls and like don't be so disgusting. But then eventually it was like, to have the motivation to keep going to the gym. Again, you need a purpose, like you need a reason to do it. So it was powerlifting for a bit for me, but same thing. I just didn't like it was motivating, and like I had like, okay, it gives me a reason to go to the gym. But once I found arm wrestling, it's just on another level, like the competition, the idea that you're literally hand in hand with your opponent, face to face, and there's that whole martial arts like aspect to it. So it's so much about technique, and I think that's one of the really appealing things about it, is the idea that it's not just about being the strongest. Like, being strong is definitely a big part of the sport, which is obviously we both enjoy being strong, but you don't like, it's not like powerlifting where it's like, okay, well, I know I'm not in that like top 2%, so I'm not going to be like on that level, period, you know? And with this, there's a lot more variables than just pure genetics and all that stuff plays into it. But with powerlifting, it's just like,
you can have a plan in arm wrestling. You can have a strategy. There's more tactics involved.
It's not every person is a totally different weight. It's like a totally different lift, you know? It's like you're not doing the same lift every time. It's like every person is a different lift now.
And that just makes the community so great, because you want to search out new hands so you can get more experience.
I was just going to say that's kind of what brings, I think, both of us is the other part of the sport that's so awesome, is the community of it and the camaraderie of it. Like the idea that the only way to do it is with other people, you know? And what you just said, like you're constantly looking for other people to like, because everybody's hand feels a little different, everybody pulls a little different.
Everybody's got something to teach you.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all willing to teach you.
Yeah. And well, that's the other thing, right, about the sport, is that it's just so open like that. Like the
giants of the sport are so down to earth.
Yeah, I know, and they're around. We're fortunate that we're in Ontario, and it's actually pretty like competitive, place for arm wrestling, and Devin and Crazy George and guys like that, and Mike Gould are like regulars at arm wrestling tournaments. Like the fact that the first arm wrestling tournament I ever went to, Devin was there, like as his kids were pulling, it's like that's part of how we're able to have enough of a connection with him that I can send him a message and get a response, within 20 minutes that is as meaningful as what he sent us,
Yeah.
like that's crazy. There's no other sport that I can think of that's like that, and that comes from the sport, the fact that you have to learn from other people.
Exactly, and you're hand to hand, like looking in each other's eyes.
Yeah.
It's just it's a brotherly sport.
Yeah, and it's about feel. I was listening to Ryan Bowen talk about John Brzenk say that the reason why he thinks, the reason that he was able to do so well is because as soon as he grabbed somebody's hand, he could feel where they wanted to pull. Like he knew where they wanted to go right away just by the way they felt, and that just exposes how much the sport's based on feel, not just strength, not just fighting through a sticking
science.
point. It's all a science. Yeah,
Just makes it, and that just adds to the enjoyment factor of it, versus
and
a
the
traditional
longevity.
strength sport.
Yeah.
The combat is so entertaining and new all the time. It's just keeps you on your toes, and then you can do it for 20 plus years, right? So
yeah, I think that's the other big draw, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea that you can do it for so long,
and that you seem to get better with age too.
Yeah. And the fact, I'm 35 when I start doing it, but it doesn't feel like I'm anywhere near the end of the road. Again, Ryan Bowen with that. I just listened to another one, a podcast with him and Todd Hutchins, where it's about it's never too late. Todd Hutchins starts when he's 35, and now he's.
And there's Tim Bresnan.
Yeah, there's so many guys like that. So.
Alright guys, that's the end of the video. We hope you liked it, and we'll be covering the idea that strength priorities are a twisty path in our next programming video, so keep an eye out for that.
And if you did like the video, be sure to like it, leave us some feedback in the comments, and hit that subscribe button so you can catch that next video.
Monkeys out.
Peace.